You're being judged on the rail and walk, Isabel. Walk your horse, please. Okay, my first impression of this rider is very good. Just if I had to draw on anything that I'd want to change in a first impression is just to relax maybe a little bit through the wrist. Sometimes our stiffness or our nervousness will show through that area, so we want to relax a little bit through that wrist and through your back. We've got a big arch to your back. You've got to tuck that tailbone under and engage your abs a little bit, so we've got a little flatter back. We could lift our rib cage just a little bit off the top of your pants and your shafts. That will give you just a little taller look. You maybe could practice imagining that somebody's got a string pulling out of the top of your head that's going to elongate your spine a little bit and take a little bit of that arch out. If that's a physical thing that you cannot change, we've got to learn to work with it. But if it is something you can change, generally that tightness through the wrist and the arch to the back comes across as stiffness, and all judges want to see a nice flat back. We could lift your chin just a little bit and get a little bit more length through your neck. Really like the placement of your foot in your stirrup. Good look through your leg right now. Let's jog please. Very prompt, very, very prompt in your transition. I appreciate that, credit earning, but be very, very careful, especially if you go to a horse show where you draw a horse you don't know. Don't jump in there and punch into it. Take your time and think about it. We've had a little bit of lack of consistency in your pace and rhythm, trying to figure this horse out. That's what this event's all about. But we've gone from rhythm to no rhythm to lack of, 2 beats to break a gait. So we obviously have got a negative score for our jog trot. So we've got to have a lot more consistency. This horse is going to fight you just a little bit on the rail. So remember, if you draw a horse that does that, go ahead and find yourself a place just slightly off the rail. Just don't let them cut those corners. You want to make sure you ride and appear that you're in control at all times. Once again, we've got another break of gait. Anytime there's a break of gait, a judge can only assume that you have lost connection and you've lost communication. Thus, it appears that you're not in control anymore. You're just a passenger. Those are things that are hugely point deducting. You've got to stay focused on that. Extend the jog, please. Extend your gait. Now you got a little dressage in your chin when you stepped up in that. I appreciate your braveness, but this is not about how fast we can go. This is about smoothly demonstrating a lengthening and a slight lengthening of a Western jog, not an English long trot. And back to the collected jog, please. Collected jog. And walk. Lope your horse. Once again, very prompt, good job. I like your promptness. Just be careful. You want to always make sure of the horses around you and make sure that all of your aids and cues are clear. Prompt is awesome, but rushing and hurrying to the point that we don't take our time for accuracy. You did get the correct lead, so way to go. So I'm praising you, but I'm also giving you a little bit of caution, especially on a horse you don't know. Remember, a Western horsemanship horse does not have to go super slow. We want to see rhythm, we want to see forward. This is not a pleasure class, and we don't even want to see a pleasure horse go with lack of rhythm and cadence. So always find your rhythm, always find your cadence. And walk. Once again, obvious. I don't have to keep harping on how many points you lose in your rail score when you have a break a gait. That's a big point deduction. So I don't have to beat you up over that. You'll see it on the video. You know it happened, and you know it can't happen. It just can't happen. A lot of times it's a horse's balance. Sometimes they'll spook. Sometimes the judge will give you benefit of the doubt if something's happening in the stands. But if they cannot find a reason for that, it's, you know, you'll find your way to the bottom of the class pretty quick like with that. Let's reverse at the walk and continue walking. Careful not to be so artificial with your head. I appreciate looking. You've got to be aware of the horses around you, but make it natural. Don't jerk your head around and get your head way ahead of where your horse is. A really good rule of thumb is to keep your eye right out over that inside ear. That is where you want your horse to go. That is where you want your body alignment for your horse to be established, and you want it to look natural. So we want to make sure we don't get too artificial. And while we're talking about your head, I know that today is just a Sunday afternoon practice, but we're not going to be able to have your bun look like that. So I don't know if that's how you normally do it, but we want to have it nice and flat and neat, so we don't have any flyaways and we don't have it moving and protruding from the back of your head like that. So just bringing that to your attention. You'll see it, obviously. Lope, please. Lope. Once again, credit earning for being prompt, credit earning for correct lead. Can't give you a tremendous amount of credit for rhythm and cadence, however. You'll see that you don't really have that. There we go, another break a gait. That's exactly what I was going to say. We don't want to run away. I'm not suggesting that you gallop around the arena in a Western horsemanship class. But you've got to demonstrate that you know what rhythm and cadence is, and you have to avoid a break a gait. Have to. As you're riding here, your chin is getting lower, and your upper body presence is going away. Your shoulders are coming forward just a little bit more than I'd like for them to. You've got some bend to your wrist. So we want to soften those wrists, square and frame our upper body and lift that chin. Jog, please, jog. Good save right there. Almost had a break a gait in the down transition, but you saved it. Good. Very good. You'll be able to get a very good look at yourself here at the profile. I want you to be just as scrutinizing on yourself as I am. We're all in this together. I want you to be able to see what I'm seeing with your hair, your chin, your wrist, the arch in your back. These are things we're going to have to fix. They're not big things, but they've got to be fixed. And walk, please. Walk your horse. Lengthen your walk, please. Lengthen your gait at the walk. What I want you to see is the amount of effort you just put into lengthening that walk. You should have put that same effort in your down transition, and you would not have had that poor gait demonstration at the gate. You know a horse is going to want to stop at the gate, so you should have put that same effort into connecting to your horse and lengthening and forward in that gait as you just did in lengthening your walk. Halt and back 4 steps. Walk and reverse at the walk. Stay mindful that many times, most of the time, if the judge asks you to reverse, especially right in front of them, they're breaking a tie. We want to see how smoothly you can do that, your connection leg to hand, your ability to leg yield your horse back to the rail, your ability to create body alignment. I would have done this for you in this class because your right rein has been shorter than your left rein for probably the last minute, and you've not taken the effort to fix it. So when you change direction, your horse is now looking outside of the rail. So I would have wanted to see if you'd taken that effort to change your horse's body alignment, or if you'd even noticed. So those are the kind of things that we want to be aware of. We want to make sure our reins are always even and our horse is always straight between our reins. Halt and back 4 steps. Good. Okay, Kelly. Okay, I asked you if that it was where you wanted to be. That was a trick question. Your pattern tells you to start at A. It does not tell you to walk to A. So that was a trick question. So you should have been at the marker. Number 1, we want to make sure that we always do the pattern exactly as written. Appear to have a very good plan in mind. Lead change was a smidge early, but not bad. Your eye is down and in, your shoulders down and in a little bit. I want you to stretch up and look out in front of you a little better. Just a little early with that transition also. Not too bad. Good extension. And good down transition to the walk. Now, when you finish your pattern, you immediately dropped your shoulders, dropped your eye. I want you to keep showing a little bit more through that walk. That's a final impression that means a lot. So don't quit demonstrating position. Okay, let's stop that. Okay, I'm going to take back my scolding because I looked at the pattern. It does show a walk to A. So you are correct. I don't have a problem admitting when I'm wrong. But my comment about doing the pattern exact still stands. But it does show a walk there, so you're okay. Now let that eye go straight down your line, straight down the line. You should be looking up at the end of the arena right now. Over that right ear, not your shoulder, and your body is inside your horse's body. You want to stay connected and in the center. You're leaning to the inside of your horse. I want you to stay centered. Stay balanced, same amount of weight in the outside seat bone as you have on the inside seat bone. Everything should be nice and balanced. Send him through those corners with your outside leg and not drag him with your hand. Layout was much better. I love how brave you are in your extensions, but once again, I want to caution you not to ask for so much that you get a break a gate up into the lope. And some West judges, I don't. I like that courage, but I have to also share with you what I know from the other judges I judge with. If it asks for, it just depends on what it asks for. This asks for an extended jog. It doesn't ask for a long trot. So make sure you give them what they ask for. So that's where I'm going with that, more so than not that I'm not impressed with the fact that you can sit that long trot. It's that it asks for an extension of the jog. Thanks.